Hello there. Today I would like to talk about the Dreamcoat. Everybody should want one of these Dreamcoats that are handed down to them by their fathers. Here is an image of Jacob handing to his son Joseph a coat made with different colours. What does the coat mean? It means you are the chosen one. First of all, we should get to know why Jacob designed the coat and what it represented. Jacob was journeying from a place called Beersheba. He stopped overnight at a place called Luz, lux being the Latin word for light. Apparently, he laid down to sleep, and during this sleep he saw angels descending down a ladder and standing on the earth. One of these angels challenged him to a fight. Jacob was stronger than the angel, so the angel went back up the ladder to heaven. But before the angel left, he said to Jacob, "I am with you and will look after you from now on." Jacob then changed his name to Israel and erected a pillar on the spot where he fought the angel, and he named the place Bethel. Here is an image taken from when I visited the Vatican, showing the scene. From this moment on, Jacob thought that he was God's chosen representative here on earth. But what really occurred at this site? Could the angel have been trying to take Jacob with him into space? Could this have been the first alien abduction that did not go according to plan? Jacob, or Israel, was to go on and live until he was 147 years of age. He would go on to father 12 sons, who became the 12 tribes of Israel. Here is a priest with the 12 tribes of Israel incorporated in the breastplate. Jacob had 2 wives and many handmaids, but his favourite wife was Rachel, who gave him 2 sons, one of which was Joseph. Jacob showed Joseph more affection than any of his other sons, so his brothers became jealous and conspired against him. They were unhappy that he was the chosen one. To show Joseph that he was the chosen one, Jacob gave him a coat of many colours. And then the story takes a twist. This occurred when Jacob sent Joseph to rendezvous with his brothers. But before setting off, Jacob presented Joseph with a coat of many colours. When Joseph met his brothers wearing his new coat, they were not impressed and sought to do him harm. They had a change of heart and eventually sold him into slavery. They took his coat of many colours back to Jacob and made up a fictitious story. Joseph then ended up in a prison in Egypt, where he correctly interpreted the dreams of the Pharaoh's butler and also the Pharaoh's baker, as shown in this scene. Joseph went on to interpret the Pharaoh's dream, where he successfully predicted there would be a prolonged drought and famine in the land of Egypt. Joseph would go on to become the advisor to the Pharaoh and became extremely rich. He was presented with a new coat, which was to be changed from many colours to that of the Pharaoh's house. Later, during the famine, Joseph would bring his father Jacob to meet with the Pharaoh. Various West End plays have been created to highlight this story. I wonder if Jacob relayed his dream to the Pharaoh about fighting with an angel and securing for himself a new name Israel. What if the event really did take place and Jacob really did communicate with God and the colours on the coat were related to that ordeal? What then happened to the different colours on the original cloak? These became associated with the veils of the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant. And the Ark of the Covenant was to become the instrument that allowed the Israelites to communicate with their God. Within the tent, that was the tabernacle, were different curtains that we should call veils. Each one of these veils was a different colour. There were 4 veils in number. The first veil was blue, the second veil was purple, and the third veil was scarlet. The fourth and final veil was white. Now, depending on your rank as a priest, this determined which veil you could pass through and move closer to the Ark of the Covenant, which was positioned at the back of the tabernacle. Because the last veil was white, it denoted purity, so only the high priest, or purest of the priestly line, could enter into this section to operate the Ark of the Covenant. This white cloak or coat became the emblem to be worn by the newest of apprentices. In time, this tabernacle was transformed into the temple that was built at Jerusalem, but the veils remained the same. The cloak or coats were made to represent the progress the initiate made in understanding the knowledge taught at the temple. Here is Jesus with his white coat of purity, telling the priests he must be about his Father's business. Was this scene in reference to Joseph going about his father Jacob's work? The cloak was the emblem to show that the wearer was God's chosen representative here on earth. This idea was to be taken up by the kings and queens of Europe, who always wore a special cloak or coat at their coronation. It was to show the people that they were God's chosen representatives here on earth. Even the Emperor Napoleon chose to design himself the perfect cloak. The monarchs or queens or kings would place certain symbols upon their robes. This was to show their knowledge of the mystic arts, or to show their family lineage, such as the fleur-de-lis. To maintain this story of the chosen representative of God, these different coloured cloaks would be placed upon Jesus and then shown in various churches. Here is Jesus with his cloak, holding the fleur-de-lis. There is such a variety of different cloaks that Jesus was to wear that only the persons responsible for their creation would know. The coat which was to be given to God's chosen one is highlighted in this scene where John the Baptist is baptizing Jesus. 4 angels wait alongside in preparation to give him first his white cloak and then his red cloak. But in reality, all the images always show that whichever coloured cloak Jesus wore, his heart was always pure. If you have enjoyed this video and wish to see more videos like this, then you can visit my website ancientsymbolist.com.